with Renae Summer, and she is a T6, and she's been injured for a little over 9 months. And we're going to kind of run through a little bit about what it's been like from her date of injury to now. And she's was the unfortunate person to have an accident on New Year's Eve, I believe.
Yes, December 31st.
Can you tell me what happened?
My boyfriend and I were in Bemidji, Minnesota, and I was downhill skiing, and we've been skiing all day, and at the end of the day, we're going to do a couple runs and then go shower, go back to the hotel, whatever, and go out.
Yeah.
And on the last time down the hill, went over a jump and flipped up in the air and landed on my back and broke it. T6. Yeah.
Wow.
And I knew right away. As soon as I landed, I couldn't feel my legs. I was like, people were, I was laying there, and John was right there, and they were like, just thought I fell, and I'm like, I cannot feel my legs. I need help. I knew right away.
So they got you off the hill and
yes,
into the hospital.
Yes.
Did you go to a local hospital?
Yes, at first.
And how long were you there?
A few hours until a helicopter could come and take me to Fargo.
Okay.
And then I had to wait for an airplane to come to Fargo to take me to Rochester.
Wow.
Yeah.
Long couple days.
Yeah. Long New Year's Eve night.
New Year's Eve. Not quite the way you had intended.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
So you started out the year in a little different situation you thought you would be in. What was rehab like? What was the first couple of weeks?
Oh, overwhelming. I remember the first Monday that I had a first day with occupational therapy and physical therapy. I'm just like, take me back to my room and put me to bed.
You didn't want to do anything.
Oh, it was exhausting.
It was brutal.
Just everything you take for granted. I couldn't. They had done surgery on the Wednesday before, and then Monday is when they throw you into rehab right away.
Oh wow!
And
did you have a brace on?
No, I didn't.
No,
I didn't.
Wow, that's great.
I know.
From a guy that had one, yeah.
And they said that was standard. It used to be standard.
Yeah,
and I asked my surgeon. I said, I really don't want one. It slows your therapy down.
Yeah.
And he said, I can't promise you anything. You'll know when you come out of recovery.
Yeah.
So when I came out of recovery, I'm like, oh, no cast. I was happy about that. But anyway. It was very exhausting. In the morning, someone would come, and you had to, basic things, putting on your pants, putting on your socks, putting on a shirt, and you're still sore from surgery because they went 3 levels up and 3 levels down, so it's pretty big incision.
Wow.
And 2 rods and 12 screws, so it's a pretty big incision, so it took a while for that to heal. So you're going through rehab while that's still healing. So a few painkillers.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the dressing part especially. I mean, you probably used the bed to balance yourself and
yes. The hospital beds have handrails, and they kept threatening me. I got to use them at first. They were really nice about it, but when it was getting time that I was going to have to leave the hospital, they kept putting them down every morning. They made sure they were down so that I could get up on my elbows. And just recently going back to Rochester for therapy, that was one of the big things, laying on my back and trying to get up on my elbows. You'd think it sounds so elementary, but it was quite difficult. And my therapist had a gentleman that had the same injuries I did. He fell off a roof, and he was at that same point that I had been at months ago, trying to get up on his elbows. And Did you
encourage him?
Yes, I did. I'm like, you will be able to do it. I had raw elbows, and they were so sore, but eventually. Now I do it, every day, and I don't think anything of it.
Yeah, but back then it was a big step.
Yes, at that point, the day I could get up on my elbows, I was like, yes!
What else in rehab did you experience? Did you
transferring.
Probably the big one, huh?
Yes. Just being able to lift your own legs and put them up onto the bed and put them down. I mean, now I don't think anything of it either, but I'm like, I am never going to be able to lift my legs and slide my...
You didn't know they weighed that much.
Yes. It's like, gosh, And then,
remember, yeah.
Yes, and then for me it seemed as though I was, I was very active, walking, jogging, outdoor activities. So my legs were really spastic after, while I was in rehab. So just when you think you're going to move one way, your legs want to do something else. So overcoming that, now that your muscles atrophy, but that was.
But you also gained strength.
Yes.
Surprising how, did you feel really like you had no strength or?
Oh, none at all, none at all. And with, they told me in the hospital, I think this was for encouragement, they said 85% of the injuries for the spinal cord are male injuries.
Yeah.
So I was in a rare population anyway, and oh my gosh, yeah. I never had lifted weights, and they have you lifting weights and doing things to build your upper body strength, but holy cow, you just can't imagine, how that was a real wake-up call after my accident, how, you don't realize what your lower body, what you all need it to do, just daily things.
So how long were you in actual rehab? How many weeks or months?
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
At that point when you left rehab, where were you at as far as transferring and doing your own things?
I could get myself dressed, everything.
Okay, you get yourself dressed.
Everything took a long time. I could get myself dressed. I could do my own bathroom care. I had come home 2 weekends before that.
So you had an opportunity
to check things out, and it was scary, very scary coming home. I mean, exciting because you're in the hospital for so long, and you're excited to go home, but it was scary because you just don't know what it's going to be like in the hospital. You can call a nurse or,
or an aide or whatever.
Yes, your doctor. And when you go home, it's like your family, they haven't dealt with it. We hadn't experienced, not anyone in the immediate family that had an injury like this, so it was new to all of us.
Yeah.
So thankfully, I have 5 brothers, which I always thought was like a curse, but I'm finding out it's great.
It's a good thing to have around.
They're awesome, yeah. And my mom and dad, gosh, I don't know, but it was scary coming home for all of us.
Yeah.
And we've learned a lot in the process. Oh my gosh!
When you first came home, was the house accessible, or what'd you have to do?
I could not get into the house, so we put a temporary ramp in the garage, and quite steep, but I could at least, they could help me get in, and I could go down it nice and fast.
Exactly.
But at least it was a means to get in the house.
Yeah.
And it's a Rambler style, so we were very fortunate that way. And my dad's office was converted into my bedroom.
Oh, so he lost his office.
Yes, well, it was moved downstairs.
Okay.
But so that worked out quite well. I was very lucky that way. The bathroom needed some handbars, and my bath bench that I had purchased while I was in Rochester in rehabilitation.
So I noticed you put up a ramp?
Yes. Once the snow went away, and as soon as we could, someone came and put a ramp on. It was
Good.
So nice, a nice grade. So
it makes the independence a lot easier.
Yes.
Getting adapted.
Definitely. The day that it was finished and I could get in and out of the house on my own, I was like, Dad, thank you, I love you. I mean, it seems quite like a small thing, but it was great to give you independence and